But nonetheless, we are live. It is February 4th today, 2026, 2426. I love that. Lots of even numbers there, but there's no even news today. It's all odd, very odd stuff today in the news. Good morning. If it's your first time joining us, I want to say thank you for joining us here on the Ignition News. It is resistance news from from what remains of the free internet in the occupied territory of the United States of America. I do have a lot of things to talk about. We got a hard stop at 11, so you got to hold me accountable. Give me some key information. Trivia for today. We have a few stories that tie each other together today, but I'm going to start where I've started actually the last several shows. Let's start it out on a live note, though, on a lighter note. Today is actually the birth of Facebook in 2004 on this day, February 4th, 2004. And the world is definitely not better because of it. I want to welcome all of our viewers over on Facebook, especially the boomers and the lead poisoning. It's great to hear your comments when I can understand what you're trying to say. The first modern pencil came out today in 1795, and the Pioneer 10 was sent its first telemetry signal in 2002 as it soared past Jupiter. I guess that doesn't make a ton of sense. It's Black History Month. Someone we celebrate a lot on Rebel Radio. It's Rosa Parks' birthday. 1913, Rosa Parks was born. The 24th Amendment was ratified today in 1964, and the U.S.-Mexico Peace Treaty in 1848. How's that working out for you? Anyways, let's get into the top stories. If you're new to the show, I'm going to take a little bit of a brief pause and ask you to please go ahead and find The Ignition News on your favorite podcast platform. Talk amongst yourself. It's important that you follow the show. We have some big goals. We need to get the Spotify count over a certain amount. Our biggest audience is actually on Apple Podcast. Just saying, if you don't like Spotify, but you like little Timmy and his golden trophy, I'm just saying, those hands were shaking like a leaf. So go ahead and find the show, The Ignition News or theignition.news, and it'll take you right to the show. If you do want to kick a little bit of support over to the show, you can click the link in the bio or go to buymeacoffee.com/Rebel Radio. Rebel Radio is our network broadcasting live on WARN, the Weirdos American Resistance Network. My lawyer would like me to remind you that that's not actually an AM or FM studio. So let's get into the news, everybody. I'm actually going to first start where I've been starting a few times, and that is on the First Amendment, freedom of the press and the arrest of Don Lemon. And I've talked about that a lot, obviously. And I've talked about how this arrest of Don Lemon is a crucial moment in American history. And I'm not backing down. The reason I'm not backing down is simple. We have to start bifurcating our resistance efforts in the United States of America. We have to say to people, hey, you've got this. I've got this. You've got this. I've got the First Amendment. You've got the Fourth Amendment. You've got the protest. You've got the rally. We've got to start bifurcating our resistance efforts. I'm going to protect this neighborhood. I'm going to protect the immigrants at the church. I'm going to stand up for this. I'm going to stand up for that. And what you have to do, essentially, is you have to let go of some of the resistance that you don't have the bandwidth for. I am not letting go of the First Amendment. But I'm actually going to back up today a little bit. And I'm actually going to back up a little bit today and talk about something different. The genesis of Don Lemon's arrest was, of course, that he was streaming at a church. And the church, I think it was called City's Church. Someone look that up for me. But he went with a resistance group who went to protest at a church. The federal government charged those protesters, along with Don Lemon, with violations of the FACE Act. What I will say, we'll talk about that in more detail. But charging Don Lemon with the FACE Act is totalitarian garbage. And I'm drawing a line here. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to back down. When the government starts arresting journalists, what happens next is a very fast and very terrible thing. Then they start arresting TikTok streamers. Then they start arresting people standing on the corner with signs. If you don't think that there is a straight line between 12 agents ambushing Don Lemon in an elevator, by the way, when he offered to turn himself in, and you getting tackled to the ground for holding up a protest sign that says fuck Trump, there is a direct line. But we have to start bifurcating our efforts. And so I'm going to need you to take some other part of the resistance so that I can draw a line in the sand on the First Amendment. But let's go back to this church. As you're aware, the reason that this protest group showed up at the church was simple. It was because one of the pastors at the church was a field commander for ICE. And this is the original hypocrisy, the original sin of this story. And it's why I'm not going to let this down. But I also want to just talk about the rank hypocrisy of it all. Christian nationalists specifically. Christian nationalists invoking Jesus' name to separate families, to tear children apart from their parents. They get up and they quote scripture on a Sunday. But it's rank hypocrisy. And this is not just my interpretation. It's literally written into the Bible. So today, before I get into some of the top stories, I want to talk to you about the original refugee child. I'm not talking about the 5-year-old Liam that they pulled from his family, who they used as bait to detain and arrest his father, who, by the way, is now free, as is Liam. It was all for show. Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. An angel appears to Joseph in the middle of the night. I'm paraphrasing a lot. Stick with me. An angel appears to Joseph and says, "Go get Jesus. Go get your lady friend. Get the fuck out of town and go to Egypt." Why? Because King Herod is looking for the child. So Jesus, along with Mary and Joseph, become immigrant asylum seekers. And the text of the Bible says, "Leave by night." They left by the night. Why did they leave? Because they had to flee. This is not about whether or not you believe the Bible. This is about the rank hypocrisy. King Herod, according to the Bible, had just ordered a massacre of innocent children. Every male child in Bethlehem under 2 years old. Scholars estimate about 20 children were murdered in that massacre. Jesus Christ was an original immigrant refugee. So they fled the Holy Land. What about what Jesus himself has to say? Matthew chapter 25, verses 35 through 40. Jesus is describing the final judgment. He says, "For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me." The righteous ask, "When did we see you in those conditions?" And Jesus says, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me." Jesus Christ was telling his followers, the homeless person on the street, that was me. The immigrant, that was me. The poor mother who can't feed her children, that was me. The person dying of sickness that needs health care, that was me. The 5-year-old in Minnesota, that was me. Renee Good, that was me. Alex Preddy, that was me. He's telling them. So these Christian nationalists who have these audacious, gaudy services, who hide behind the wall and the shield of their Christianity, who think that they are beyond any kind of reproach, I'm sorry. I'm going to call you out for being hypocrites. Jesus said, "I was a stranger and you did not welcome me. Truly, I tell you, just as you did not do it to one of these least, you did not do it to me." So let's be clear. Jesus is describing the criteria for eternal judgment literally in the Bible. These people get up and they think that they can live horrible lives, and then they can, on their deathbed, pray to Jesus for forgiveness. Well, guess what? I don't believe that, and neither does the scripture that you hide behind. Jesus didn't answer, "Who is my neighbor?" He didn't qualify it with, "Do you have paperwork to prove that you're my neighbor?" He didn't qualify it with, "Oh, did you cross the border legally?" He said, "Everyone is my neighbor." So these Christians that hide behind their churches, that hide behind the Bibles that they never ever read, by the way. Look at Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth has led a life of destroying families, his own families. How many times has that man been married? How many times has your president been married? How many times has this cabinet? It's hypocrisy. And so this government, which is led by Christian nationalists who want to have an ethnic cleansing in the name of their fake Christianity, they are destroying the foundations of the Constitution that is there to protect all of us. It is freedom of religion, but it is also freedom from religion. But back to Don Lemon, something I've said before, something I will say again. Journalists have to be able to report from the worst conditions. They have to be able to report from war zones, battlefields. And if protesters are going to churches, we can have the discussion later as to whether or not that is appropriate. But what we cannot do is we cannot say a journalist cannot document so that we all can see what is happening. If you start deciding what a journalist can cover, you no longer have the First Amendment. And so I'm drawing a line in the sand. And it's not just because of the Constitution. As I've said very clearly, it is because these people are horrible hypocrites. 69% of Christian nationalists said, quote, immigrants are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country. Think of that. Think about that. 7 out of 10 of these people think that. What would Jesus say to them? 68% of them think immigrants are invading our country and replacing our cultural and ethnic background. That's the great replacement theory that you've heard about. 57% of those people support deportation to foreign prisons without due process. No trial, no hearing, no appeal, just exile. Let's just be very clear. Those 57, they're on King Herod's side. Think about that. 74% of Christian nationalists support barriers, walls, even if they endanger or kill some people. 3/4 of white evangelicals support barriers that kill people. Jesus Christ said, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. They're building walls, borders, fences specifically to kill people. So I'm drawing a line. You can pretend to believe that you're a Christian all you want to. You can pretend to go to church and be all good. Go to church with your 4th wife and your 5th child from your 3rd marriage. You can drunkenly text war plans over Signal. Your wife's on the chat because she doesn't trust you. That's why she was on the chat, by the way. You know this. Pete Hegseth's wife was on Signal with him because she doesn't trust him having a phone without her. Why? He's screwing around on everybody. It's rank hypocrisy. Violations of human rights in the name of Christianity. And that, my friends, that is why they don't want journalists. That is why they don't want you to see it. That is why they don't want me to see it. And most of all, that's why they don't want us to report it. And so as much news as I have for you today, the biggest news is this. The assault is on. It is on full force, and it is coming for you. And none of us can handle all of this alone. Not one of us can handle all of this alone. So we are going to start having to bifurcate our resistance. We're going to have to say, hey, I need you to take this one. I can't do it. I got to go protect the First Amendment. Hey, I need you to go protect the Second Amendment. Hey, I need you to go protect the Fourth Amendment. Hey, I need you to go to that protest. Hey, I need you to organize a caravan of voters. Okay, I can't do that right now. I'm going to trust that you can do that. Listen to me when I tell you this. We do not all have enough to do everything. We have to separate our resistance efforts, and we have to start doing it now. What that means is trust. Speaking of trust, I got a few stories. I'm going to burn through these stories real quickly. I do have a hard stop at 11 o'clock. I see on the news that the president of the United States is afraid to go to the Super Bowl. His advisors are telling him, by the way, don't go to the Super Bowl because you're going to get booed. Huge boos. His polling is cratering. Europe, in our third story, Europe is pulling out of the digital separation with America. It's the next story. You see this? They're pulling out of Zoom. They're trying to digitally separate themselves from the United States of America. No amount of fake Christianity is going to help your economy when Europe pulls away from the biggest tech companies: Amazon, Google, Apple, Zoom. You can pray all you want. Prayer does not fill up bank accounts. Prayer does not provide jobs. I mean, it might. I don't know. I'm technically not an expert at these things. And the last one, very briefly. Steve Bannon is threatening ICE at the polls. It's not a joke. Bannon said, we're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. You can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want, but we're never again going to allow an election to be stolen. Bannon is proposing basically having ICE go around protecting elections. This is exactly what we told you was going to happen. It's exactly what people were worried about. This is exactly why this has never been about immigration. It has nothing to do with immigration. They are planning to steal the midterms. They are planning to steal the midterms. And now the gloves are off. The mask is off. We know they're going to use ICE to try to do it. And so I'll close the show briefly today where I started. I know I wanted to tell you so much more, but today is a short time and I'm doing what I asked you to do. You're going to have to trust me. I wish I could cover more news for you today, but today the news is your backyard, your neighborhood, and your resistance. Our allies are pulling out. The president knows he's unpopular. His advisors know that the president of the United States is so deeply unpopular that he can't even go to the Super Bowl, the ultimate American pastime, the Super Bowl, because they're failing. They're failing in every measurable way. And they know that what they've done is criminal. They know what they've done is corrupt, and they know that they have stolen from the treasury. And so with this mounting wall of evidence, they know they have to steal the midterms because these people are going to be in jail. They will be in jail. And they're going to mount every effort possible, every single effort to do just that. So my question here is quite simple. To close out the show today, what would Jesus do? Would Jesus join the ranks of these Christian nationalist hypocrites? Would he encourage expelling Liam, a 5-year-old, in the cold, separating him from his parents? Would Jesus allow the tyrannical rule of a king against the will of the people? Would Jesus allow ICE to terrorize people from exercising their First Amendment or their freedom of voting at the polls? I think Jesus would tell Europe that, yeah, if you don't want to use Zoom because of tyranny in America, yeah, that sounds fine to me. Normally we talk about news on the Ignition News, but today we're talking about you and the resistance. We're talking about what you need to do now. And I'm being honest with you in a way that a lot of people are not comfortable being honest with you. And the honest truth for today's show is simple. Number one, I'm sorry, I wish I had more time. Number two, see, I'm going over time. I'm going over. Number two, we do not have enough resources for everybody to be fighting every battle. We just don't. Stop believing that we do. Stop believing that you can be everything, everywhere, all at once fighting fascism. You can't. If you try, we're going to lose. Bannon is saying out loud they're going to use ICE to intimidate people at the polls. Europe is pulling out. They have more troops in Greenland. NATO sent more troops to Greenland than Ukraine. What do you think that says about how they feel about the United States of America? Elon Musk is being investigated by the European Union for these lewd images that Grok is making. What do powerful people do when they are under threat? They did what King Herod did. They tried to get rid of the opposition. I know that's brutal. I know it's not something you wanted to hear today, but it is the truth. And so what we must do, what we have to do, is we have to start trusting each other. We have to trust that you can handle something, that I can handle something, that your neighbor can handle something, because that does not weaken us. Do you see what I'm saying? It does not weaken us to bifurcate our efforts. It strengthens our advance. If I am laser focused on the First Amendment, and I put all of my resources and efforts into challenging, fighting, and pushing this administration, which, by the way, I'm very fucking good at, I'm more likely to win. And you're more likely to win in your neighborhood, fighting the fight that needs to happen in your neighborhood. They don't want to tell you this, but they are advancing on all fronts. So we have to deploy our resources to all of the fronts. We just do. These are dangerous times, of course. These are scary times, of course. But there's also a little bit of vigor in it, is it not? Are you not a little bit excited? Are you not a little bit excited to know that you have Stones? That this is the best they have? Pete Hegseth? J.D. Vance? Elon Musk? Kristi Noem? Pam Bondi? Kash Patel? This is their best? Isn't it a little bit of excitement? Look at that. I got restricted. Look at that. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with For You feed compatibility. And there it is. There it is, friends. Right in the middle of the truth and the challenge and the fight. That's why you have to find me wherever we are. Because I'm speaking the truth, and the truth is algorithmically uncomfortable to these people. So I'm going to pause the show right there. Go find me on The Ignition News, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Substack, YouTube, TikTok. These are scary times. They want to silence us because they know that we have the resistance capable of defeating them. They can shut us down here if they want to. They can silence us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or wherever else. But I will rise somewhere else. And so will you. How appropriate, how fitting today on such an excellent show, inspiring us all together, that this platform tries to shut us down. How inspiring. That's what I'm talking about. It's not scary. It is inspiring me. It is inspiring to me to know that my message is so scary to them, so deeply, so especially. Do you know what that is? What happened here? What happened here was some little fragile little bitch over here on TikTok. I'm gonna have to edit this out. Some little fragile little whiny baby on TikTok didn't like what I was saying, and so they marshaled their little troll squad. Oh my God, saying something mean. That means we're winning because they have nothing. They have nothing to say back, and so all they can try to do is silence us, but we will not be silenced. That is the show today, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on the Ignition News. I appreciate you. Stop. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh no, do we have a troll? No? Oh. Is that a troll? Oh, okay, I don't know. It looked like a troll. I don't know. Interesting, everyone. Interesting. Yes? Interesting. 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 I gotta go, Substack.